In person, audience reactions are so important. Nobody wants to hear crickets or feel like their listeners are bored, or worse, even annoyed. Knowing when to adjust, or even in the worst case, when to drop the story completely, is a very useful skill that allows you to evaluate real-time feedback from your audience. There are a few key indicators that most people will display if you're losing their interest and if you need to pivot to gain it back. First, facial expressions are key. After the course, I've attached some resources that go over many of the common facial expressions universal to all human beings. Ones to become familiar with and look out for are frustration, anger, and boredom. Those are all very negative emotions, and if you notice them, your story probably needs an adjustment. Keeping your eyes trained on the faces of your audience is a difficult but necessary skill and can be developed over time. Second, watching their body language beyond the face will tell you how they're feeling about what you are saying. If they're rolling their eyes around or looking everywhere but directly at you, they could be disinterested. If their feet are facing in another direction, they could want to leave. Or if their arms are crossed, they possibly are disinterested in what you're saying. None of these is a surefire indicator on its own, but they can give you a pretty good idea of what you're facing if taken in groups of related gestures. This is called clustering by body language experts and is standard practice when evaluating other people on that basis. Look for clusters of related behaviors in both body language and facial expressions to form a complete picture of how your audience is feeling. This will likely take some practice at first, but eventually you'll learn to pick up on signals almost constantly because the average person isn't nearly as guarded with their reactions as they or you might think. When adjusting to your audience, use what you notice to dictate where you go with your story. If you notice clusters of impatient body language or facial expressions that indicate boredom, consider getting to the point and ditching any extra elements. Conversely though, if you notice keen interest, take the opportunity to elaborate or add in extra elements like humor, roller coaster arcs, and animated body language of your own.